The dogs and I are just passing through Leadville. Off in the distance you can see Mount Massive, and a little bit over to the left is Mount Elbert, right there, which is the tallest mountain in the state. We're headed off to Salida and points downstream of there to do a little bit of fishing Sunday and Monday. Sue's on the mountain instructing these 2 days, so she can't go with us. We'll hope we have a little success on the brown trout in the river, and if we do, it's going to be our last trip of the spring since we're headed off to Arizona next weekend. We fueled up and had a quick lunch in Salida, and now the doggies and I are trucking it down this dirt road that parallels the river. We'll get down a quarter to a half mile or so and see how we do. Looks very tough today. Got a bitter downstream wind blowing, which is not going to make casting easy. The river itself is extremely low, which means the fish will be really spooky. So we're going to have to play our cards right and fish well. Really tough. I've been nymphing and without any success. Now I've got a decent brown on. Put on a comparadon on the top and trailed it with a little kind of a mercury bead thoraxed emerger, and that's what this one took. Just missed another strike before that, but it's not easy fishing. Excuse my French. It's a rainbow. Boy, do we love to see rainbows on the Arkansas. Bluey, no. Stay away. Oh, nice. Same shallow riffle, but this one I think's a brown. Let's see if we can reel a little bit here. Click, click, click. He didn't want to come up. He's a darn good fighter. Oh, there he goes, there he goes, there he goes. It's not going to be a big fish, but I suspect he's something. Fished our way up to this deep hole in some very nice pocket water and had absolutely zero success. So now we're very deep nifting, probably 10 feet down with a golden stone and a little midge larva behind it. And I don't like this kind of fishing, but it looks like something we may have to do today. The golden stone. It's another nice rainbow. Yep, he's a dandy. It's about 16. Spent a good 15 minutes fishing both sides of this deep hole, and probably played a good half dozen fish, so it was worth doing. Well, this isn't going to be easy. Oh, it is. It is. It turns out it's a little one. Thank goodness. Swirling a nymph in some of these big deep eddies, and finally hooked a brown, but it's a baby. We'll take him anyway. Now it's another one. I haven't had much luck in some of these eddies, but this is a darn good fish too. Fighting very deep. Doesn't want to come up at all. Strong, strong fish. Boy. None of these Arkansas River fish are usually very large, but this one is fighting like crazy. The rod even bends. Oops, he's off. Not too bad. That was a good fish. I bet that was in the 18-inch range, which doesn't make any sense at all. Around 3 o'clock, I took a break from the fishing, walked back to the van, and we had a snack and watched the dogs do some playful fighting. I knew I'd gotten a really good drift in this eddy. Sure enough, that's a little bit better brown trout. I'm going to have to walk down and resuscitate him. But it's nice to catch a brown. He actually took a little black midge larva. So that's 7 o'clock in the morning. The dogs and I have been up for about 2 hours. They've been playing outside. I've been playing Sudoku inside. Happily, the furnace in the car worked, so at least I was warm. There will be no fish feeding at this hour, but we're awake, so we might as well go for a walk and see what happens. Here we have a little herd of bighorn sheep moving up ahead. The little doggie, I think, disturbed them with her barking. Well, the morning assumption is pretty much correct, apparently. I've fished some awfully nice deep holes here. Swirled nymphs in some big eddies and some scum lines, and haven't had a sign of a strike. So I'm guessing it's really just too early. We'll probably throw in the towel shortly and maybe drive to another spot. This is probably going to be our last gasp for fishing for today. We're up in Buena Vista right now, walking down the river below the River Park Bridge. River's very low and clear. Water's also much colder up here than it is down by Salida, so at 11 o'clock, pretty cold temperatures in the air too, so hard to tell what success we may or may not have here. Glory be, I've hooked a fish. I kind of think it's a rainbow. Yep, it is. I've had the strangest things happen here. Was using a pink thingamabob strike indicator, and had at least the same fish 2 or 3 times, plus another one come up and take the darn thing. So this one's taken a small beadhead buckskin, so it is Little Rainbow again. Well, I've got to admit, this little run's been productive. The fish aren't big, but fish is a fish is a fish. Got a couple other browns on. This is a small one too, and they're all taking a very tiny, about a number 20 beadhead buckskin. After watching the strike indicator strikes, I changed the rig completely, put on a white rubber-legged WRS on top as an indicator, followed by a red copper john, and then that buckskin. Oh boy, here's a darn decent rainbow. Let me get off this rock, see if we can get him in and take a peek at him. He actually took the copper john, and that is just a dandy fish. Look at the size of this puppy. Yellow belly and all. Must be getting ready to spawn, do you suppose? He's a beauty. Making the change to that 3-fly rig proved very productive. Had several strikes and 2 or 3 fish on the surface fly, a couple on the copper john, and probably another half dozen on the buckskin. So it was a nice afternoon. Goody goody, finally had a brown take the indicator fly. There had to be somebody that his eyes were bigger than his senses, so it's nice to see that little brown come in like that. Good, thank you, Mr. Brown.